The wedding hall fell silent. Hundreds of guests watched in shock as the most feared man in Seoul stood frozen at the back of the room. His expensive black suit was soaked by the rain outside. His fists trembled. His eyes were locked on the woman standing beside another man. Zara, the maid he had spent 3 years pretending to hate. The woman he forced into a fake marriage. The woman he thought would always stay. And now, she was smiling at someone else. The priest had just asked if there was anyone who objected to the union. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Until suddenly, Kang Min-jae stepped forward. The ruthless mafia boss who had never begged anyone in his entire life. The man who could make politicians kneel and billionaires disappear with a single phone call. Looked directly at Zara and whispered, "Don't do this." The entire room gasped. Because for the first time, the king of Seoul looked broken. But what nobody knew was that this heartbreaking moment started 30 days earlier. With a contract, a lie, and a hatred that should never have existed. If you love Korean billionaire romance and mafia love stories like this, subscribe now to @Official_Threads and turn on notifications so you never miss our next story. 3 years earlier, Zara arrived at the Kang estate carrying a single suitcase. She was 24 years old, far from everything she had ever known. The giant mansion towered over the hills outside Seoul like a palace. Its marble walls reflected the sunlight. Its iron gates looked strong enough to keep out an army. Everything about the place screamed power and fear. The employees rarely smiled. The guards stood like statues. Even the air felt heavy. The moment Zara stepped through the gates, she understood one thing. Whoever owned this mansion controlled more than money. He controlled people. What Zara didn't know was that her life was about to collide with one of the most dangerous men in South Korea. Kang Min-jae, 32 years old, CEO, billionaire, mafia boss, a man feared by enemies and respected by allies. A man whose name could stop conversations. A man whose heart had turned cold years ago. Their first meeting lasted less than 10 seconds. Yet it changed everything. Zara was carrying cleaning supplies through the main hallway when she accidentally bumped into him. The bucket slipped. Water splashed across the floor. Several employees gasped. Everyone froze. Because nobody made mistakes around Kang Min-jae. Nobody. Zara quickly bowed. "I'm sorry." When she looked up, their eyes met. Something strange happened. Min-jae's expression changed instantly. His face darkened. His jaw tightened. His eyes became ice. For a second, Zara thought she had done something terrible. But she hadn't. The truth was much worse. Because the moment Min-jae saw her, she reminded him of someone else. A woman from his past. A woman whose betrayal destroyed his family. And from that day forward, he couldn't separate the two. Act 1. The hatred made no sense to Zara. She worked harder than everyone else. She arrived first, left last, never complained. Yet somehow, she was always the one Min-jae criticized. If a vase was dusty, it became Zara's fault. If a meeting room wasn't perfect, he blamed Zara. If another employee made a mistake, he somehow found a reason to lecture Zara. At first she thought she imagined it. Then she realized the truth. The boss genuinely disliked her. And she had no idea why. Months became years. The cold treatment continued. But something unusual happened. Zara never fought back. Never became bitter. Never sought revenge. Instead, she remained kind. Even when she cried herself to sleep. Even when employees whispered behind her back. Even when Min-jae ignored her existence. She continued smiling. That confused him more than anything. Because everyone eventually broke under pressure. Everyone except Zara. One winter evening, the mansion lost power during a snowstorm. Most employees rushed home. Only a few remained, including Zara. Min-jae was working inside his office when darkness filled the room. Minutes later, someone knocked. He opened the door and found Zara holding a candle. The warm light illuminated her face. "You haven't eaten," she said quietly. He frowned. "What?" "I made soup." Silence. Nobody spoke to him that way. Nobody worried about him. Not anymore. Yet there she was, offering food to the man who treated her terribly. Min-jae almost refused. But something stopped him. For reasons he couldn't explain. He accepted. That should have been a meaningless moment. But it wasn't. Because for the first time, a crack appeared in the wall around his heart. Meanwhile, a problem was approaching. One capable of changing both their lives forever. Several weeks later, a major scandal exploded across Seoul. A powerful business family accused Min-jae of secretly dating multiple women. The rumors spread rapidly. Investors became nervous. Business partners demanded answers. Media outlets followed him everywhere. The situation threatened years of carefully built influence. His advisors proposed dozens of solutions. None worked. Then one elderly consultant made a shocking suggestion. Show them a wife. The room became silent. Min Jae hated the idea. Marriage wasn't something he believed in. Not after what happened to his family. Not after betrayal. But public perception mattered. And unfortunately, a wife would solve everything. The only question was, who? Several women volunteered immediately. Socialites, models, actresses. But none felt right. And saw Zara walking through the garden. An idea formed instantly. A terrible idea. An idea that would soon change everything. The next morning, Zara received an unexpected order. Report to the boss's office immediately. Her heart pounded. Had she made another mistake? She knocked carefully. Come in. The moment she entered, Min Jae placed a document on the desk. Sign it. She blinked. What is it? A marriage contract. The room spun. What? For 30 days. Zara stared at him, certain she had misunderstood. But what happens next changes everything. Because Min Jae wasn't joking. He explained the fake marriage, the public appearances, the media events, the temporary arrangement, and the financial compensation. When he finished, Zara remained silent. Her emotions twisted together. Shock, confusion, disbelief. Then came anger. For the first time in 3 years, she looked directly into his eyes and said no. Min Jae wasn't prepared for that. Everyone obeyed him. Everyone. Yet Zara refused instantly. Without hesitation. Without fear. The rejection irritated him. And strangely, impressed him. What if I increase the amount? No. What if I guarantee your future? No. Why? Zara swallowed hard. Then answered honestly. Because marriage means something. Those words stayed with him long after she left. For the first time, he realized he didn't understand her at all. And that realization would soon become impossible to ignore. Zara walked out of Min Jae's office with her heart racing. She thought the strange proposal would disappear. She believed the boss would simply find another woman. After all, beautiful actresses and wealthy socialites were practically lining up for the opportunity. Why would a man like Kang Min Jae waste time convincing a maid? But she was wrong. 3 days later, another crisis hit. The media pressure became worse. Several important investors threatened to pull out of a billion-dollar project. Rumors spread that Min Jae's company was unstable. Every newspaper wanted a scandal. Every reporter wanted a headline. Meanwhile, Zara received unexpected news of her own. The small community center she secretly volunteered at was facing closure. The center helped immigrant children who had nowhere else to go after school. For years, Zara had quietly spent her free time there. Teaching, cooking, helping children with homework. The building owner had decided to sell the property. The center needed a huge amount of money to stay open. Money Zara could never afford. That same evening, Min Jae called her back into his office. This time, he wasn't cold. He wasn't angry. He simply looked exhausted. For a moment, Zara saw something she had never noticed before. Loneliness. Real loneliness. The offer still stands, he said quietly. She remained silent. Then he slid another paper across the desk. Her eyes widened. The amount was enough to save the community center completely. Not only that, it would fund the children's programs for years. Min Jae noticed her expression. You care about those children. Zara looked up. How do you know that? I know everything that happens around me. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Zara made the decision that would change both of their lives. I'll do it. Those 3 words should have made Min Jae feel victorious. Instead, something felt strangely heavy inside his chest. What he didn't know was that this decision would soon become the biggest mistake of his life. The fake marriage announcement shocked Seoul. News channels exploded. Business rivals were stunned. Social media became obsessed overnight. Nobody knew who Zara was. Nobody understood how an unknown maid had somehow become the wife of one of the most powerful men in South Korea. The public wanted answers. And suddenly Zara found herself standing beside Min Jae everywhere. At business dinners, charity events, corporate galas, award ceremonies. Everywhere. For the cameras, they played the role perfectly. The devoted husband. The elegant wife. The chemistry appeared effortless. But behind closed doors, things were very different. At first, the arrangement was awkward. Painfully awkward. They shared a mansion but lived separate lives. Separate bedrooms. Separate schedules. Separate worlds. Yet every day brought them closer. Not because they wanted it. Because life kept pushing them together. One morning, Zara woke up late after spending half the night preparing materials for the community center. She rushed downstairs, only to find breakfast already prepared. She blinked. The chef smiled. The boss ordered it. Zara frowned. Why? That evening, she forgot her umbrella during a storm. A car suddenly appeared beside her. Min Jae sat inside. He didn't say a word. He simply opened the door. She climbed in. Neither spoke during the drive home. Yet the silence felt different now. Less hostile. Less cold. Days passed. Then weeks. And slowly, something impossible began happening. Min Jae started looking for her. At first he didn't realize it. He would notice when she wasn't around. Wonder where she had gone. Listen for her laughter in the hallways. Search for her during events. Every time she entered a room, his eyes followed her automatically. That terrified him. Because he knew exactly what those feelings meant. And he didn't want them. Not after everything that happened in his past. Not after betrayal. Not after heartbreak. Meanwhile, Zara was fighting a battle of her own. She had spent 3 years convincing herself she disliked him. 3 years telling herself he was arrogant, cold, impossible. Yet every day revealed another side of him. She saw how secretly he paid medical bills for employees. How he anonymously donated to charities. How he protected people without seeking credit. How he remembered birthdays despite pretending not to care. The man everyone feared wasn't the man she was getting to know. And that realization frightened her. Because feelings were growing. Dangerous feelings. The kind neither of them expected. One night, after a charity gala, Zara's heels broke while walking down a staircase. She stumbled. Before she could fall, strong arms caught her. Min Jae. For a moment time seemed to stop. His hand rested against her waist. Her heart pounded wildly. His eyes locked onto hers. Neither moved. Neither breathed. The entire world disappeared. Then someone called his name. The spell shattered instantly. They stepped apart. But neither forgot that moment. Neither slept much that night. And things only became more complicated. A few days later, Zara became sick. Nothing serious. Just exhaustion. But when Min Jae learned she had collapsed at the community center, panic hit him unexpectedly. He canceled meetings. Ignored phone calls. Rushed home immediately. The staff couldn't believe it. The feared Mafia boss sat beside Zara's bed for hours. Watching. Waiting. Worrying. When she finally woke up, the first thing she saw was him. You stayed? The question slipped out accidentally. Min Jae looked away. You work too much. His voice sounded rough. Almost emotional. For the first time, Zara realized something. Maybe he cared. Maybe he had cared for longer than either of them realized. Meanwhile, another piece of the puzzle was about to fall into place. Several days later, an elderly woman visited the mansion. The moment Min Jae saw her, he froze. It was his aunt, one of the few people who knew the truth about his past. She requested a private conversation. And during that conversation, his entire world shattered. The woman who betrayed his family years ago. The woman he had subconsciously associated with Zara. The woman he blamed for everything. Was innocent. Completely innocent. The real traitor had been someone else. Someone much closer. Someone Min Jae trusted. The revelation hit like a truck. For years, he had carried hatred based on a lie. For years, he projected that hatred onto Zara. For years, he punished an innocent woman for someone else's sins. The guilt nearly crushed him. That night, he couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. Couldn't think. All he could see was Zara. Smiling despite his cruelty. Helping despite his coldness. Caring despite everything. The next morning, he found her in the garden. For several moments, he simply watched. Then finally spoke. I'm sorry. Zara looked shocked. Because Kang Min Jae never apologized. To anyone. Ever. What happened? His eyes lowered. And for the first time, he told her everything. The betrayal. The misunderstanding. The reason he hated her. The guilt. The shame. Everything. When he finished, silence filled the garden. Then something happened that completely broke him. Zara smiled softly. And forgave him. Just like that. No revenge. No anger. No bitterness. Forgiveness. A forgiveness he didn't deserve. At that moment, Min Jae realized he was in love. Completely. Hopelessly. Irreversibly. In love. But what he didn't know was that time was already running out. Because the 30-day contract was almost over. The final week arrived faster than expected. Every passing day felt heavier. Every conversation carried hidden emotions. Neither wanted the arrangement to end. Neither knew how to stop it. Then the final day arrived. And everything changed. The contract officially expired at midnight. The next morning, Zara packed her belongings. The mansion suddenly felt empty. The staff looked sad. Even the atmosphere felt different. Min Jae watched from his office window, unable to stop staring. 1,000 words filled his mind, yet none reached his lips. Fear stopped him. Fear of rejection. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of losing her completely. So he remained silent. And silence became the biggest mistake of his life. 3 months passed. Zara moved into her own apartment, focused on the community center, built a peaceful life. Meanwhile, Min Jae buried himself in work. But nothing helped. Every room reminded him of her. Every memory haunted him. Every day felt incomplete. Then fate introduced someone new. His name was Daniel, a kind architect who volunteered at the community center. Unlike Min Jae, Daniel expressed his feelings openly. He was patient, gentle, consistent. He admired Zara from the beginning. Most importantly, he never made her question her worth. Months later, Daniel proposed. The proposal was simple, beautiful, sincere. And after thinking carefully, Zara said yes. Not because she loved Daniel more than Min Jae. Because she believed Min Jae never wanted her. Never would. She thought their chapter had ended. Forever. News of the engagement spread quickly, and eventually reached Min Jae. The moment he heard, everything inside him stopped. For several seconds he couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't process the words. Engaged. Zara was engaged. To someone else. That night he drank for the first time in years. Not from celebration. From heartbreak. The truth finally became impossible to ignore. He loved her, and he was losing her. The wedding day arrived. Rain poured across Seoul. Guests filled the elegant hall. Music played softly. Daniel stood waiting. The ceremony began. Everything proceeded perfectly, until the priest asked the final question. Does anyone object? Silence. Then suddenly, the doors opened. Every head turned, and there stood Kang Min Jae, soaked from the rain, breathing heavily, looking completely broken. The room froze. His eyes found Zara instantly. Nothing else existed. Not the guests. Not the cameras. Not the world. Only her. He slowly walked forward. For the first time in his life, the feared Mafia boss looked terrified. When he reached her, his voice shook. Don't marry him. Gasps echoed throughout the hall. Zara stared at him, speechless. Min Jae swallowed hard, then did something nobody thought possible. He begged. I know I don't deserve another chance. His eyes filled with emotion. I know I hurt you. His voice cracked. I know I was too late. The room remained silent. But I love you. Tears appeared in Zara's eyes. Min Jae continued. I loved you before the contract ended. I loved you when you brought me soup. I loved you when you smiled despite everything. I loved you every day after you left. His voice broke completely. And if you walk away today, I'll understand. For a moment nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Then Zara looked toward Daniel. The kind man smiled gently. Because he already knew. He had seen it months ago. The way she spoke about Min Jae. The way her eyes changed whenever his name appeared. Daniel stepped back and quietly said, Your heart chose him a long time ago. Tears streamed down Zara's face. Then she looked at Min Jae, the man who once hated her, the man who once hurt her, the man who learned how to love. And finally, she smiled. A real smile. The one he had fallen in love with. You're late. Min Jae's heart dropped. Then she continued. But not too late. The next second, she walked into his arms. The entire room erupted. Some guests cried. Others applauded. Even Daniel laughed. Because sometimes love wasn't about who arrived first. It was about who finally found the courage to stay. 1 year later, the community center expanded into 3 buildings. The children flourished. The staff grew. The dream survived. And every morning, Zara woke beside the man who once feared love. The man who now treasured it. The man who finally understood that trust was stronger than fear. As for Min Jae, he never stopped thanking fate for one simple miracle. The day a maid walked into his mansion and changed his life forever. This story reminds us that love cannot grow where pride controls the heart. Min Jae spent years trapped by old wounds and painful assumptions. But healing only began when he confronted the truth and accepted responsibility for his mistakes. Zara showed that kindness is not weakness. Forgiveness requires tremendous strength. And genuine love sees beyond status, wealth, race, power, and past mistakes. True relationships are built on trust, respect, sacrifice, and honesty. Sometimes the greatest battle isn't against enemies. It's against the fears inside our own hearts. And sometimes, the bravest thing a person can do is simply say, "I love you," before it's too late. If you made it this far, let us know where you're watching from and comment your favorite moment below, like this video, and subscribe to @Physial_Threads for more emotional Mafia love stories.